You're on.
Okay guys, so welcome to my video. I'm starting a new project. This is a piece of, I think it's Carob that we got, gosh, I've had it for several years and I finally figured out what I'm going to do with it. So I'll show you more when we go over there. But what I've done is I have drawn a line here and I'm going to try and bandsaw this baby. And then we'll see what happens.
And where are we?
We are in the cave. We are in
As
the
you can
back
see,
cave.
Yeah.
stuff
Yes.
everywhere.
So, oh, you know what? I would like the shield.
Oh,
just
yeah.
in case something throws off at
All
me.
right, I'll do it.
Okay, so I want to wear this because there are a lot of loose pieces, soft, loose stuff that I don't know where it's going to go. So, Eric's standing right here in case I need help. All right, here we go. So this is the board, and what I'm making is a clock. So this is a mold that I got from Crafted Elements. It's a silicone mold, can be used for tables. This is 18 inch. I also got a 12-inch one, but I want a big clock. So what my plan, this is my plan. So this, I'm gonna clean this up, sand it down, clean it up, round it a little bit more because it's not going to set quite the way I want it to. And then I'm going to set it in here like so. I'll bring this over here. Set it over in here like this, and then it's going to have resin around it and it's going to be a clock. So right now what I'm going to do is I am going to just kind of clean this up a little bit. I got to set it up here and I get to play with the disc sander. Yes. So check this out. This is, again, I believe this is Carob, I'm pretty sure. And this, I've probably got my arm right in the way.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll go over on this side.
Oh, there we go.
But look at that board.
Man.
I've made other things with this before, and I've had this piece for a long time, but it is amazing.
That is a beautiful board.
And I want to get the penetrating epoxy on because once I cover this with resin, I just think it's going to be very airy and there's going to be bubbles everywhere. So I'm just going to put a bunch of penetrating on there and try to...
Even that white pops out.
Yeah. I just love this board.
And you've had this one for a while?
I've had it for a while, and I believe I got this board up at the wine glass bar in up in the Phoenix area. Wine glass bar sawmill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you haven't been there yet. You're gonna have to go.
Yeah, I haven't been
Awesome.
there yet, but I want to meet those guys.
Yeah, they're two pretty cool dudes. All right, so I might have enough for you just to do yours.
Now, do you usually put it on the back too?
You know what? You can, but I'm not going to.
It just seals it up in the front, so like
That's really all I really care about is the front. If it gets airy and there's bubbles on the bottom, I'm not too much worried about it.
Okay.
So
They wouldn't like float up to the top?
they might, but they'd come around the edge, and I think it'll be all right.
Oh, all right.
Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm starting my clock. I'm really excited about this clock. You guys saw me get the board prepped. Here is the board. Again, I think this is Carob.
That's
Is that
kind
right?
of what we're thinking.
Kind of what we're thinking there.
Sure.
So this is an 18-inch round mold, silicone mold that I got from Crafted Elements. They are expensive, but I think I'm going to be using it quite a bit, and I think it's going to save a lot of time in the long run. So I have a hair that's driving me nuts. In there. All right, so I wiped it down with rubbing alcohol. It's all cleaned up. I am going to spray this universal mold release. It's a silicone mold release. I'm going to spray that in this. So, whew, it doesn't really stink. It's just whew. So I have made 24 ounces of Total Boat tabletop. It's 12 ounces of hardener, 12 ounces of resin, and I separated just a little bit in a cup because that's...
Can you move that can?
Oh, sure.
Release? Yeah, I just wanted to zoom in.
I'm going to be using the Ninja Black. This is for kind of like the bottom layer, I guess you would call it. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to do it. And then Eric suggested black.
Oh no, so if it turns out bad, it's
It's your fault. Yeah. But we're going to do something even a little bit more different. A little bit more different?
yeah.
Is that a word? Is that like
It's a
a thing?
Vickyism.
That's a Vickyism, yeah. So I want this really black. And one thing I like about the Ninja Black is it does have like almost like a pearl. It's not a opaque black. It's like a pearl black, and it's so pretty.
That's what Ryan used on Amy's paw print.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we got to mix this up really good. And I have, what I did was I took one of the 18-inch wood rounds and put it on the bottom underneath this and used my Dixie cup leveling method so that it is level, because there's no way you can put enough cups underneath this silicone mold to keep it flat. So here we go with the black. Isn't that pretty? And I just want that to go all over. Just feel up the bottom. All right, there's that. I wasn't sure it's going to be enough, but I think we're okay. If not, I'll add another layer of it, but I think we're good. Scooch it around a little bit. One thing I love about the tabletop, or I guess all of Total Boats, I really don't use that much of it. It's self-leveling, so it will level itself out. All right, let's get rid of that. So, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's so pretty. Now, what I'm going to do to get the bubbles out, because I really don't want to torch and take a chance on melting this, but I've been watching videos, and then actually Tessa told me a long time ago, my thing is leaking, that if you spray rubbing alcohol on it, it pops the bubbles, and it does. And that way you don't take a chance on burning your mold. Now, that's the black. So what I want, the effect that I'm going for here is kind of a marble. So I've just put a little bit of resin in here. I'm going to put some white in that. I really need to order some more white. There we go. And with the white, I use the opaque. I don't want a pearlized white. I just like the opaque white. We thought about putting some rocks in it and doing all that kind of stuff, but I want to be different. I like to be different. All right, so now I'm just going to do some streaming on here. This is the part that makes Eric crazy. Okay, so I can always add more if I want. And I'm going to use my heat gun to blow it around. I haven't done this in a while. It has been a while, huh? So I'm just going to blow it around. Oh, it's been a while. I don't want to see any real defined lines. I want them just kind of all over the place.
Is there a danger of the heat gun getting the silicone too hot?
The silicone, yes, I'm sure it is, but I'm trying to kind of aim away from it. But you can also get your resin too hot, so you've got to be careful with that. You do not want your resin to burn. Then it gets really nasty. You got to keep that thing moving.
Now, I'm curious, on the heat gun itself, do you have it set at high heat or low heat?
I have it set at high heat, and I have it on high as far as the actual blower on it, because I want it to blow around as much as possible.
But why the high heat? Why not just
because it just doesn't work as well for me. I mean, I have no, professional reason or anything like that. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just a hack that likes to have fun with this stuff. All right. I think I want a little bit more over here. And a little bit more everywhere, I guess. All right. If you get the resin too hot, you're going to have some ugly bubbles that come up, and they will not pop. It's nasty. It really ruins your resin. All right, I think that's about what I'm doing. So, that's it. Oh, I get a line. Hold on, can't have any lines. I don't like the lines. Nope, there's another one. All right, so that's it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna give this probably 3 or 4 hours to kind of dry, but I want it sticky, tacky, and then I'm gonna put the board in it. And from that point on, it's all gonna be clear. I just wanted this base part of it to have that pearled look. So that's it for now. Now we wait. All right, guys, welcome back. So we have our marble look. It's been, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I'm not sure what time it is. Now I want to just set this board in there. Never done this before, so here we go. And it's still not dry. It's still tacky. It's still wet. I just want that to go down in there. And what I really need is a weight. I need a weight.
Well, I can go get you one.
I think that'll be heavy enough. So I want it to stay right where it's at. So there it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this heat gun, because you can see right here where it's kind of moved up. I want to loosen it up a little bit. I want to heat it up and see if I can just get it to flow down a little bit. If it doesn't, it's okay. All right, it looks good. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to let it set for about, I don't know, probably till tomorrow. And then I will start pouring the clear on it. Okay guys, welcome back. I wanted to show you a quick fix. I have a few bubbles that I don't like and I couldn't get them out without burning my resin, so no worries, I'm going to fix them. So if you'll see right here, I have a little bit of bubble, and then down here I have one that's a little bit deeper, and I have a couple of things that looks like something landed in my resin and dried, so I'll touch those up. I've got a bubble here, and then I have a couple up here that I'm just going to touch on, and then so I'll show you how to fix those, get rid of those out of there. So I have my Dremel, and I have this little, I don't know.
Yeah, if you can hold it right there.
I don't know, it's like a little snub nose, bottle nose,
Bull nose.
bull nose, whatever that is. And I like this one because it has the rounded tip. If you have something with a pointed tip or too crazy, you're going to end up drilling holes in it, and then you're going to end up with bubbles again because those air is going to come right up out of those bubbles. This just kind of gives it a little concave that will fill up nice. And I always, when I do it, I have just a little bit of bubble here, but I'm going to create a bigger hole so that it just goes in there nice and it doesn't try to fill up and keep giving me more bubbles. That's another Vickyism. Yeah. All right, so here we go. That's it. You got to have just a really light hand. You do not want to dig into that wood, creating fresh live wood again. And then you do not want to get over here too close because you do not want to dig into your mold. So that's all I'm going to do there. Now I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to pour another 24 ounces of resin. Hi guys, welcome back. So you saw me pour what I thought was going to be my final pour, and it wasn't. I think it's worse than it was before. So I Dremeled it out. I cleaned out all this gunk inside the little craters, and then I poured the resin. And when I came back, it was worse. Or not worse.
I don't think it's.
I don't think it's worse, but you can see I have got some seriously, I don't know, bubbles on top of bubbles on top of bubbles. So I'm going to have to do it again. All right, guys, welcome back. So on the last scene, you saw me drill holes again, trying to get those bubbles out and just fill the holes. And after trying to continually pop the bubbles forever, I had to take a couple of days away from it because I was ready to use it for a Frisbee. So what we're going to do, I've been watching a lot of videos. Eric and I have been talking about it a lot. And what I've decided to do, first I want to show you the bubbles. It was continuous. I just was so frustrated. Is that good?
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Down here, and I don't know, that one is not bad. This one was a bubble fest. This one, the bubble stayed so far down. I just don't want to continue drilling it and continue filling it. There's bubbles down in underneath that. It's frustrating, but I'm sure I can fix it. I know I can. So Eric and I are going to take this out of the mold, and then we are going to take it to the back of the shop, and we are going to use the router sled, and we're going to take it down to wood. That's the only way I can think of to fix it. There may be another way, but I don't know what it is. So we are going to remove it from the mold. We're wearing gloves because those edges are going to be pretty sharp. So look at that. Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking it would pop. Let me see. Let me get down there.
Yeah, that just kind of pops
The
right
only
out.
reason I'm getting involved is because this
It's
thing's
heavy.
really heavy.
Wow. You guys, I love this mold. Oh my gosh.
That was easy
Holy
peasy.
moly.
That was
The
pretty
mold
darn
itself is heavy. I think the mold is half
Yeah.
the weight.
easy. Yeah. It's actually not that heavy. I mean, it could be. Yeah.
So we are going to take this out to, like I said, to the back. We're going to router sled this baby to pieces. Well, not to pieces, but down to wood. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to put 2 or 3 coats of the penetrating epoxy on it. I am going to put a chamfer on the edge, or a bevel, whatever you want to call it, and sand it down, and then hopefully that will be enough to do the flood coat. So anyway, guys, stick with this. We're going to take it out back and we'll show you what we're doing. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, so here's how we're going to hold this thing down. We decided to use the blue tape and the Starbond. Again, I use this all the time. This is definitely my preferred way to stick stuff down on a temporary basis. This thing is, even though it's heavy, it's too light to just use the rubber pad. So we went to the other end where we don't have a rubber pad, which is going to work out pretty well. And we're just going to put the... basically, I drew a circle on here, covered it with tape, and then we're just going to put the Starbond on here. Whoa. I'm using the thin. You could use the thick or the medium. I'm just using the thin. I think it'll be just fine. I don't use the thin that often. I use the thin mostly for situations like this. The thin I don't use very much for filler. So that's, I think, more than enough. Then I'll put the accelerator on the piece here. And hopefully I can get it set down on there where it needs to be quickly before it sets up. Get my finger out of there. So now, this thing is pretty flat on the back, obviously, because it came out of the mold. So I think it's going to make good contact right where it is. We're pretty much centered this way. We got plenty of room at this end, so I think this is going to work out pretty good. So what we're going to do, we're going to let this set for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and we'll get the router to it. So we'll be right back. All right, so from the last scene, we had to make an adjustment. I didn't realize we stuck this thing down and it was too low. We didn't have enough depth adjustment with our router and that big bit. I'll show that in a second. So we had to actually glue a 3/4 inch riser, 3/4 inch MDF piece, just a square piece on there. Here, glue that, and then we glued this to this, again using the Starbond and the blue tape, and it's solid as a rock. It's not going anywhere. So the bit we are using is this big honker, 2-inch wide, I don't know what you call it, a flattening bit, or
Spin it.
Oh, a butterfly, whatever you want to call that thing. It's a honker, and I've got it in my big 618 router. And I've got the, remember when you're using a big bit like this to slow your router speed down, so I've got it down to about 3. I think they say like 14,000 or something like that. Always go by the manufacturer on that. So I've just got it set at a depth where I'm just going to make just a slight pass, because we've never done resin. That's a cool thing about this. We've never done this before. As far as I can remember, this will be the first time we've actually used a router sled and done any resin cutting. So, enough talking, let's get to it. Here we go. So that's what we're doing right there. You can see, obviously, it's not quite not quite level. It's close. So we can. We're just going to keep taking passes on this. We're going to take our time, take passes a little bit at a time till we get down to where Vicki wants it to be, which is the wood surface, and we'll kind of do that off camera. Obviously, we're making a mess. You need to be wearing a respirator when you're doing this. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not right now, but I will be. So there's lots of resin to take off of there. So we will do this off camera, come back and show you when we're down to where Vicki wants it to be. Be right back.
All right, guys, welcome back. Since Eric did all of the hard work, got the dirty work, he took about 4 passes on this with that big old bit and got it down to mostly wood. I then went with my, Old Faithful here, thank God for Starbond, and I filled up some of those holes, those gaps. I'm going to sand it down, and I want to show you right here. This was a bubble that was really deep. It's where the board slanted down. It was deep. So what we did, thank you for the suggestion, Carmen, and many, many videos. We took a drill bit. We took a drill bit that was just a little bit bigger than the hole, and then we did another drill bit a little bit bigger than that. I think we used 4 drill bits?
Yeah, I think 4 different sizes.
4 different drill bits until it's nice and big. I did drop a little bit of Starbond down in there, hopefully to seal that up. So now I'm going to sand this down, and then we are going to take it back into my shop. Oh, did I say Eric did a round over? I love that. That looks really nice. And take it back into the shop. I'm still going to put penetrating epoxy on it, and I'm going to put like 3 coats of penetrating epoxy on it. And then we'll go back, Lord willing, and do the flood coat. So, I'm going to sand, and I don't know what Eric's going to do, but we'll be back when we're ready to go back into my shop. So, see you in a little bit. All right, guys, so after all my issues with bubbles, I sanded this thing down. You saw we took this down with the router sled down to wood. I sanded it a little bit, and then I had 3 coats of penetrating epoxy on there. I still had a few bubbles, but I'm thinking that they've all been filled up now. I'm going to put the, hopefully, Lord willing, my flood coat on. So I have 4 ounces of hardener, 4 ounces of resin of the tabletop. Fingers crossed, this should be my last pour. Fingers crossed. It's all level. So here we go. All right, everybody, I'm back. And I'm filming on my own today because Eric's up at doing the demo. And I got more bubbles. I don't even know how many coats of resin I have on that. I scuffed it up and I opened up the bubbles that I had. And now we're going to try it again. I'm going to pour a really light coat. Just fill those. I opened them up, make them wider, hopefully prevent some of the bubbles from coming back up. I don't know. We'll see what happens, so bear with me. Hi everyone, welcome back to part 657. This clock, quote unquote clock, has been a nightmare. I have struggled with it and bubbles. I thought after the last layer, which should have probably been the last scene you saw, it was gonna look great. Nah, it didn't work that way. So, I did something, I don't know. First of all, it sat on a shelf for like a week and a half. Then I got frustrated, and instead of my little drilly pointy thing, I took this. I have no idea what it's called. I have no idea what size it is. It was in my set.
That's
and
a
I
stone.
thought it's some kind of a stone, yeah. And I just drilled the bejeebers out of this. So if this doesn't work, this is going to be the most expensive AR-15 target that we've ever had. So
you just drilled them out. And that was
I
it.
drilled them out. No, what I did was I took some thick Starbond and I dropped it down in there.
After you drilled them.
After I drilled them out, yes. So what I want to do, because I think there's still a few little pinholes, I'm going to try desperate times. I'm going to take a little bit on a stick and I'm going to put it down there in the middle and see what happens. Hi everybody. So you have been watching my clock video here. I started out, I was so excited to get this thing started, and as you can see on the video, it's really started getting discouraging. And let me tell you, there were many times that I was pretty much in tears, almost in tears. And I always say on all my videos and stuff that everything's fixable, and I still stand by that. But there are times when you have to walk away. You have to let it set, and you have to think about it, and you have to talk about it. Eric and I have talked about this thing, and right now I'm at the point I have to walk away because I'm ready to use it for target practice with the AR-15. So let me show you some of my mistakes. First of all, I want to say we kind of started watching some of the videos, and we figured I've got probably 10 or 11 basically 10 or 11 clear coats on this that I have done, and probably close to, I bought a 2-gallon set of tabletop, and it's not the resin. It is absolutely not the resin. I think it's a combination between the weather and the board. The board, I made so many mistakes, but I want you guys to see these mistakes. I started looking for how to fix these on videos through YouTube. I can't find anything. I can't find what I need on YouTube videos. So I'm going to show you guys my mistakes. The first mistake I made, major mistake I made, and Ryan actually pointed it out to me, about prepping the back of the board. I really didn't. I didn't level it. I didn't use it, the planer on it, or the router sled, and I didn't put penetrating epoxy on it. You'll see I have penetrated epoxied this thing. That's a Vickyism. Many times.
Maybe 6 coats?
6 coats of penetrating epoxy on it. But I'm going to stand it up, and we're going to point out some of my mistakes. First, you're going to notice there's little turtle charms on here, because I thought, well, all those bubbles, I'll cover them up with turtle charms. I don't like it. I think it takes away from the actual board. You'll see here, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to set this thing up. And by the way, this thing probably weighs 40 pounds. Try hanging that on the wall. So let me show you some of my mistakes. These are the turtles. They are coming off eventually. It's just not going to be anytime soon, because it's going on a shelf. So I put the little turtles on over the bubbles, thinking that would hide them. No, no, no. The bubbles came up under the turtles. So I have a hole here, and I have a hole here. And I have a black mark on my finger. Where the bubbles came up, I couldn't pop them, and they just ended up little holes. I have bubbles underneath my resin, and I have bubbles that came up, and when I tried to pop them, it was too dry, and they wouldn't flow together, So they're holes. I cannot, you can probably see in the videos how discouraged I was getting. And finally, I just decided I have to stop. I have to put it away. Real quick, on a lot of these bubbles, you'll see once I did the Dremel, I put Starbond glue in them, and most of them came out really good. I learned a lesson though. Up here, let's see, where's that? Oh, it's over here. Up here where there were a lot of bubbles, I put Starbond. I dremeled it down. I put Starbond in there, and I used the accelerator. I sprayed the accelerator, and what that did was it sealed the top coat of the Starbond, but it didn't do the bottom part. So when I put resin over it, it became foggy. I don't know if you can see that really clear.
I think it kind of shows.
That was a mistake. So down here, when I did the Starbond, I did not use the accelerator. I just let it dry overnight and then poured it.
So can you point to that area again? I was not.
Well, it's up in here. Up in here, I used Starbond. I used it here, but you can't see because of the turtles. But I used Starbond in here, and I dremeled it down, and I put Starbond in it. I just let it set overnight, and I still got bubbles. So I think my biggest mistake, I'm going to sit down here. I think my biggest mistake was not prepping the back. And Ryan pointed it out to me, and me being me, I told Ryan, nah, it's all good. We don't need to do that. Huge mistake. I have bubbles. Oh, I see bubbles way down there. Different lighting in here, so I'm seeing all kinds of mistakes. So again, I have got probably 10 or 11 coats of resin on here. Probably, I don't know how many hours I have in this thing.
We probably have 30 hours just discussing it.
Yeah,
just talking.
And then probably another 30 hours just popping the bubbles. I used my heat gun. I used my torch. We have drilled the holes, the bubbles. We have, I have dremeled the bubbles. I have tried to, we planed it all, sledded it all down. We put penetrating epoxy. And now, I think I started to say I paid, what was it? I bought a whole thing of a 2-gallon set of the tabletop epoxy. I have used 3/4 of that 2 gallons. So I have way too much in this. So I wanted to show you my fail. Well, I won't call it a fail because I'm not done with it yet, but it's going to be a while. It's got to be 120 degrees outside before I will even touch this thing again. Because I think the weather was a huge part of my big mistake. Which I have told many people over and over again, you can't pour this stuff in cold weather. Well, I thought it was better than that. As far as taking my own advice. Yeah, no. I have a slight stubborn streak that tends to come out when I'm in a hurry. And this is the result. So again, it's not a fail because I'm not done. But I'm going to tell you guys, when things like this happen and you're so frustrated that you are in tears, walk away. Gosh, you've got to walk away. So this thing is going to go on a shelf for a while until I think about it some more, and Eric and I talk about it some more, and I watch some more videos, see if I can find something for somebody to show me something. And the turtles are coming off. I don't like the turtles. And it's funny because I told Carmen what I was going to do, and Carmen's like, I don't like turtles. Don't like anything with a shell. Tessa has tried to help me, walk me through it. Her and I have talked many times, and guys, I'm just frustrated. I'm not deflated. I'm frustrated, so it's time to set it aside. So anyway, I wanted to show you this. I wanted to share this with you guys because we all make mistakes. None of us are professional at resin. I am definitely not a resin professional. So don't be afraid to put it aside. Walk away.
I am going to say that other than the bubbles, other than the bubbles, it's absolutely
It is beautiful,
stunning.
yeah, and that's why I'm not.
Absolutely
That's why I'm
stunning.
not giving up. It's gorgeous. I just have to figure out what I want to do next. So, anyway, guys, thanks for following along in my crazy journey. I'm not done. I'm frustrated. I'm a little discouraged, but that's why it's going on the shelf. So, anyway, we'll let you know when we pick it up and start again. But thanks for watching. I hope this helps somebody to not be as discouraged, and know that we all go through it. We all go through it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps somebody, and we'll let you know when we pick it up again. Thanks for watching.